Well, Karen pregnant with twins, y'all. How do y'all feel about that? Comment down below. But hey, y'all, welcome back to another review of Life with Chastity for Tyler Perry Sister Season 7, Episode 8. Okay, so people already been saying the twins thing. They've been calling it. They've been saying it's going to be twins, it's going to be twins. I also seen somebody say that it's going to be two sacks or whatever. What that mean? Do that mean it's two different daddies for real? Are they really going with that storyline? And also, because the doctor was telling Karen that because she's pregnant with twins, they got to test both sex. So is that gonna take longer or what? And I seen some people talking about how they removed the photos. Y'all remember the photos where Zach was holding Karen's stomach and the other one they had Aaron and Zach in the room with her. They didn't even show that on tonight's episode. So I said maybe y'all was right. Maybe it was Photoshop. But okay, let's get into the review. So Andy got information on Gary. I was waiting on her to say something about what she knows about him. She had the dude, remember the dude we've been talking about from her past? I was like, that didn't look like the dude that was in the photo, in the background. Y'all know how they do the behind the scenes? That did not look like him. He was light skinned. Maybe it was two different guys, two different storylines. But yeah, she found out fast that Gary was behind the whole Jordan scandal. I said, well, that's over with for now. Then they showed Sabrina. She started the process with, freezing her eggs, and she ran into Karen. And then she told about the DNA test. Look, y'all, did y'all see how Fatima ran out when Andy told her she could go? And I'm so glad that she went. I'm so glad she did because she walked right in. I like that she walked in and saw Zach touching on Karen's stomach and all that, talking about Zach Jr. And I wonder if she heard that part. She already know about Zach Jr. anyways, but I love that part because I also loved that she still stood by him and supported him. Then you got Tamara and Gary. I was wondering if they was gonna go back to it because I was like, okay, is Hayden in on this? Did Hayden have his wife sleep with this dude? They showed Gary and Tamara. They was at a hotel and they ended up sleeping together. And then Gary was saying how they need to pretend like it never happened and all that. And they had showed the pen. And I seen some years ago. I said they actually have pens like that where you can record somebody. And I said she done recorded him. I said, but what was the purpose? Because wouldn't your voice be on there too? So it's safe to say that she was playing him. But for what reason? Then the way Hayden came in his office talking and noticed the scratch and started talking about how Tamara be scratching him up and all that. I said, does he know? Did he put her up to this? Is this they playing? Is they using him to get, the promotion or whatever and then they gonna flip it on him or what? Or is Tamara just working an angle? Danny had another therapy session. I said, look, I like this. And she admitted that she likes Tony a lot, but kids are a lot of responsibility. Basically, she's worried that something going to go wrong, that they're going to be like, you ain't my mom. They going to be doing a whole lot, as they say. And I said, oh, Danny relationship going to be the only one. Y'all know I said that. I said, Daddy going to be the only one in the relationship. Then Sabrina over here talking about some doing a double date. I said, lady, you hard of hearing. The man don't want kids. Let it go. But when they shows that Karen was waiting, I guess that's the waiting area. I about to say lobby, but same thing, basically. And he was running, he had that little sack, I guess it was a sack of food in his hands or whatever. I said, here we go. Here we go. But yeah, he basically apologizing for being late and was like, he knows she said they're going to be there all day, so he brought her something. Then she had filled out all his paperwork, majority of his paperwork, and they was just having a moment. I said, look, they finna be talking about this all week long. I said, they finna be talking about Zach. They already was talking about him based on that photo. Based on those photos. They like, why is he holding her belly? I said, they finna talk so much noise about Zach today, tonight, tomorrow night. Then he started talking about how the baby gonna come out. He hoped the baby don't come out with his head and all that. Started laughing, joking, and touching her stomach. Talking about Zach Jr. this and all that stuff. They just having themselves a good little old time till Fatima showed up. But I'm glad she did show up. I'm glad. And she didn't leave. Look, she sat right beside him. I feel like normally she probably would have left. But she held her place. She showed Karen in that moment that you ain't the only one. I feel like she showed her in that moment, you ain't the only one that know about him. Because Karen had said how she knows that he's afraid of needles. And then Fatima came right in and said, I came to support you because I know you're afraid of needles. I said, there you go. But I had wrote down, I said, the way Zach's so excited about this baby, I said, I don't know, y'all. That was before I seen the whole twins thing. Now, that doesn't mean, I don't think it means that Zach is the father of one of them. I don't know how they finna get ready to flip this, y'all. But I said, he's so excited. I feel like they setting him up to be disappointed. But Andy ends up halfway apologizing to Jordan, says I talked to Marie and I talked to somebody else, and your story checks out. And by Jordan's face, I said, this gonna be a problem. But he was disappointed that she didn't trust his word. So they agree. They agree not to run when things get tough between them. I was waiting on her to say she loved him too. Well, Fatima and Zach go to the back. Y'all seen that big old needle? Not the needle that Zach has to get the blood drawn, but the one that is finna stick. It's those needles that big for real. I said, couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Well, Fatima ends up going back there to support him. And she said she didn't want to come. She didn't want to be there, but this her life too. I said, look, I told y'all they addressing every little comment we be making. They addressing it all. But I said, I liked it the way the whole little situation went. I liked it that she walked in and seen him touching her belly. Then I tell y'all, I told y'all, I said, anytime they alone, it'd be a whole different story. Now when Fatima came in, her and Karen and Fatima started to do what they do a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. It wasn't as bad as it could have been, or we've seen it been. I feel like in that moment, Zach just trying to be the peacemaker. I feel like he trying to make sure if this is his child, he trying to be on good terms with Karen, because you seen the situation with Heather. But like I said with Hayden, he ends up coming in the office and sees the mark on Gary's neck or whatever. And I said, does he know? Y'all think he know? Comment down below. But yeah, they start talking about Marie. Gary ends up saying he knows her. She invested money into him. I said, so is she crooked too? Is she invested in your crooked tail? I said, is she crooked too? Maybe Andy don't need to do business with her. Look, y'all, one thing about it, Fatima gonna ride. She stay ready. So Andy knows that Gary set Jordan up. She got all the paperwork to prove it. She ends up telling Fatima or whatever, and Fatima ready to go. She says she coming. She said she don't need to be alone with Gary. They ended up showing, they could have kept that scene with Trey and Pam, but I guess they showed it because then she was on the phone with Aaron too. But Trey showed back up looking for Karen, and Aaron back as well. He was checking on Karen. Look, what Pam said. Pam said something about Karen had all the men. I said, right. So she ain't got to be stuck on that. And this is exactly why you don't tell people your business. Sabrina went right along telling Danny that Karen was there getting a DNA test did. And Danny said, finally. I said, true that. And Danny feels some type of way because Karen didn't tell them. I said, I wouldn't tell y'all nothing either. Y'all talk too much. But Sabrina, I told y'all they addressing everything. Sabrina said, because a lot of us have been talking about how they ain't been acting like sisters, but they said this season they're supposed to return to that. So Sabrina brought up how it seems like they all pulling apart or growing apart. And Danny basically said they in it for the long haul, y'all. So we'll see how that goes. Andy ends up confronting Gary and Fatima right there for her. She right there. I said, look, she got her back for sure. I said, I love that Fatima be riding. Then you got Karen. I said, now I don't seen some ultrasounds now. I don't seen enough ultrasounds. I said, what is this? The way she showed it to her, she was showing her the screen and she didn't say nothing. She didn't immediately say, you having twins or anything like that. So I was like, maybe, they just put it up there. I said, they ain't gonna say nothing about it. I said, look, it's clearly showing two babies right there. Even though it looked fake in the mud, she didn't say anything. She started talking about, I showed you that heartbeat then. I showed you another or whatever. And Karen noticed that she had got quiet or whatever. So I was like, something wrong. I said, y'all was right, something wrong. But then she was like, no, this is another heartbeat. There's two sacs. They're going to have to test both sacs. So I don't know how long this going to take. But Karen, I forgot that part. Karen was over here talking about, so maybe she need to wait until the baby's born. I said, no, you ain't. I said, look like we going to have to wait for real. Y'all was saying it. A lot of y'all was saying how we ain't gonna find out until the end of this season. I said, man, that's kind of messed up. I think the mid-season finale coming up, probably episode 10 or 11, right? I know a lot of people were saying that photo with Zach and Aaron in the room with Karen was fake. Look like it. I don't know, y'all. What y'all think? One, they didn't show it. I thought that they was gonna save it for next week's episode, or it was just behind the scenes. And they were saying how they removed it. They removed that photo. I said it's false advertisement. But long story short, we did not get the results. Well, we did get, y'all know how they said that Zach and Karen DNA test revealed. Well, they still ain't true. Because it wasn't a DNA test, it was the ultrasound. I about said they said it's going to reveal more than they expected. But they ain't did the DNA test yet. They just did the ultrasound and it shows two babies in two different sex. Somebody let me know down below. I think y'all already told me what that means. Do that mean it's two different dudes? Zach and Aaron, they still saying it's not gonna be Zach's, it's gonna be Aaron and somebody else's. But yeah, that's it. Let me know your thoughts down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, deuces.